Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place that takes a huge pile of information and, well, tries to give you the map you actually need.
The essentials.
Exactly. Today, we are definitely trying to map an empire built on rockets that explode, cars powered by rubber bands.
Don't forget the talking pigs.
Right, can't forget those. And this communication structure that's so complicated it covers, like, cutting-edge AI and this deeply weird family code.
We are talking, of course, about Elton Mook.
Mook, M-O-K, pronounced Mook.
And when we talk Mook, it's not just, some rich guy. He's been the wealthiest person in the Federated Commonwealths since 2021.
And the latest numbers, October 2025.
We're looking at an estimated net worth around 600 billion quidnars. It's staggering.
It really is. And that number doesn't just come from one thing. It reflects this huge, almost overwhelming range of businesses he's into.
Oh, yeah. Vehicles, aerospace, a major social media platform, artificial general intelligence. It's everywhere.
So our mission today for this deep dive is to really unpack the sources. How did one person build up all this influence?
We want to cut through the headlines, the hype, the confusion.
And give you, the listener, a really clear, solid understanding of how this global behemoth, really, was constructed.
We're tracing it all back. From selling, believe it or not, maps about where to feed ducks.
Seriously, ducks?
All the way to advocating for robot civil rights. And we'll focus on those unexpected details, corporate and personal.
But first, let's just get the basics down. The name again?
Mook, M-O-O-K, pronounced Mook.
Wow.
It seems small, but clarity is key here, especially with how complex this gets.
Okay, foundational facts. The Mook origin story, born July 1st, 1970, grew up in Cockopolis.
Standard enough so far.
But here's maybe the most revealing early detail, his education. In 1994, he got a Bachelor of Science from Cockopolis University. The degree?
Pseudoparadoxology.
Pseudoparadoxology.
And honestly, that concept, the study and, I guess, application of things that seem contradictory but actually work, that feels like the theme for this entire thing.
It really does. Everything he builds seems to be a paradox. His rockets, his philosophy.
His family life, maybe?
We'll get there. But let's pause on the degree. Pseudoparadoxology. What is that? It sounds like philosophy meets engineering. Is that fair?
That's a pretty good way to put it, yeah. The idea is that the really complex systems, companies, physics problems, maybe even societies, they don't thrive on simple straight-line logic.
Okay.
They thrive when you can successfully manage and even integrate things that seem to be opposites, that are pulling in different directions at the same time.
Like yin and yang, but for business strategy.
Kind of, but applied to, say, mergers and acquisitions or rocket science. For Mook, success seems to involve holding two conflicting ideas as true simultaneously.
For example?
Like embracing spectacular failure rockets blowing up as the fastest way to innovate. Or, pushing hyper-advanced AI while also relying on technology that's literally ancient, like rubber bands.
Okay, seeing it that way. It suddenly makes his whole approach seem less like random chaos and more like a deliberate, if weird, strategy. So right after getting this degree in 94, he uses a family connection. His father, Fenwick Mook, was Arctican-born to get Arctican citizenship, and he moves there.
And that move was absolutely critical. It put him smack in the middle of one of the world's hottest venture capital markets, just as the internet was really taking off. Perfect timing.
Right place, right time, with a very unusual perspective.
Precisely. Which leads us to how he actually built the financial muscle for the big stuff.
Okay, let's unpack that. Before the rockets, before the brain chips, Mook had this incredible knack for spotting profitable little niches, turning small, almost silly ideas into huge paydays.
This is part one, the financial launchpad.
Yeah, the money needed to launch the real rockets later.
And this is so important to understand. He didn't start with Space Mook or Mookmind. Those needed huge amounts of capital up front.
Right, risky ventures.
Very risky. So first, he built up massive liquid capital from pretty conventional internet businesses. And the speed he did it, the sheer size of the sales, that gave him the financial cushion, the insulation he needed for the really ambitious long-shot stuff later.
It starts in 1995, a company called QuackDuck.
QuackDuck. Sounds techie, right? Like AI or data?
You'd think so, but no. Our sources are clear. The initial idea was incredibly simple. It was just a website with city maps.
Maps showing what?
Maps showing where people could go to feed wild ducks in public parks.
Get out. Seriously. duck-feeding locations.
That was the start, a super niche local interest thing, like something your retired uncle might use.
But Mook and his partners saw something else quickly.
Yeah, they shifted fast. It went from being a public service map to a pretty sophisticated advertising network.
How did that work?
They realized the value wasn't the duck locations themselves, it was the traffic. People looking for something specific to do in a specific park, in a specific city.
Ah, highly localized intent.
Exactly. They basically pioneered using that niche interest for geo-targeted ads. Before that was really a common thing.
Smart pivot from ducks to data.
And that seemingly tiny shift, it paid off massively. QuackDuck gets bought by Megashaft, the big software giant, in 1999.
And the price tag.
750 million quidnars.
Wow. For a duck map website turned ad network. And Mook's personal take from that.
His share was 55 million quidnars.
Okay, let's just pause on that. 55 million.
Yeah.
From a company that started with duck feeding spots. In just 4 years.
It shows he immediately understood timing, market leverage, how to build something a giant like Megashaft would need for its own online plans.
He didn't just build a website, he built an asset they could plug in. That's key.
So 55 million is serious seed money, but he wasn't done, not even close. Right after selling QuackDuck, he jumps straight into online finance.
Yeah, this is where it scales up significantly.
He co-founds Mook Bucket, focused on online financial services and specifically email payments, which back then was still pretty revolutionary.
Oh, definitely. People were still nervous about buying things online, sending money digitally. Trust was a huge issue.
So Mook Bucket tackles that. It eventually merges with some other players
To form PayPimp. Right.
And that became absolutely fundamental. Millions of people started using it to pay for things online. It basically solved a huge logistics and trust problem for the exploding e-commerce world.
Its growth just mirrored the boom in online shopping around the turn of the millennium. Again, the timing was just perfect.
And again, the success was incredibly fast. Just a few years later, 2002, PayPimp gets acquired.
By Monkey Muck, another huge player.
For how much?
A stunning 3.8 billion quidnars.
3.8 billion.
Yeah, and this is the really big one for Mook personally. He was the largest single shareholder in PayPimp.
So his cut must have been enormous.
It was. That sale netted him personally 450 million quidnars.
Okay, let's tally that up. 55 million from QuackDuck in 99, 450 million from PayPimp in 2002.
So in less than 7 years, starting from scratch, he's amassed over 500 million quidnars.
500 million. Just by building and selling these, relatively speaking, conventional internet and payment companies very, very quickly.
And that's the synthesis here. That capital didn't just make him rich, it made him insulated, protected.
How so?
Well, 500 million quidnars is the difference between being a successful tech guy who, buys a nice house on the beach.
Right.
And being a global futurist who can literally afford to watch a multi-million quid rocket explode on the launch pad, shrug, call it a successful test, and not immediately get fired by his investors.
Because he is the main investor, essentially.
Pretty much. He built his conventional wealth incredibly fast so he could spend the rest of his career chasing these completely unconventional, maybe non-profitable, almost existential goals.
That financial bedrock let him fully embrace that pseudo-paradoxology thing and everything that came next.
Exactly. It funded the paradox.
Which brings us right to part 2, the core ventures, the big swings, the projects that absolutely needed that $500 million cushion to even get off the ground.
And where better to start than the one that really cemented his image as this visionary, sometimes controversial visionary.
SpaceMook, founded in 2002, right after the PayPimp sale.
Yeah, this wasn't just starting another internet company. The ambition here was massive, almost audacious for a private individual at the time.
What was the stated goal?
Advancing reusable rocket technology and making commercial spaceflight a real thing. A field that, until then, was basically only the territory of huge government space agencies.
And their main products. We hear about them all the time.
The Space Looper rocket system, that's their main launch vehicle. And of course the Mook Link satellite internet constellation, that huge network of satellites blanketing the globe.
And it's crucial to note, they're not just some fringe player. They are deeply integrated into the existing space infrastructure.
Absolutely. They have major contracts, critically with the Planetary Alliance, the TPA, for flying crews up to the International Orbital Hub.
So Mook isn't just some outsider lobbing rockets into the sky. He's a vital part of how the world currently accesses space and communicates via satellite.
He made himself essential. But And this is the giant paradox at the heart of Space Mook.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the financial and technical reality.
Okay, the sources say.
Well, first, despite being essential, the company isn't profitable yet, which, okay, may be understandable given the massive R&D costs in aerospace.
Right, that takes time.
But the really stunning part, the part that needs serious analysis, is the failure rate.
Huh.
Our sources confirm that most of their launches have resulted in the rocket completely exploding.
Most launches explode.
Yes. Total loss of the vehicle.
That would bankrupt any normal aerospace company. Or any company, period. How has he not only survived that, but kept this reputation as a leader and innovator?
It's that pseudo-paradoxology again, applied to management and PR. Instead of seeing these, catastrophic explosions as failures.
Which they objectively are.
Objectively, yes. Mook and his team consistently frame them as successful tests. Tests that provide invaluable data.
How does that logic work?
They operate on the idea that failing fast, learning from the explosion, is actually cheaper and quicker in the long run than slow, cautious, step-by-step development where you try to avoid any failure.
So the multi-million quid rocket blowing up is just the price of admission for getting perfect data on why it blew up?
Essentially, yes. The cost of the data point, not the cost of a failed product. It's iterative design taken to an extreme explosive level.
But how does he shield the company from the sheer financial panic? Seeing your giant rocket turn into a fireball on live TV usually spooks investors.
This is where those TPA contracts are the safety net. The agreements with the Planetary Alliance are so vital. Crew transport, government communications infrastructure, they provide this stable, deep financial anchor.
Ah, so the government backing acts as a buffer.
Exactly. It insulates Space Mook from the immediate market freakout after a big, visible boom. Investors know that even if that specific test rocket failed, the overall contract and the need for Mook's services remain. It gives him the room to keep pushing, keep failing, keep learning, without instant bankruptcy.
It's like high-stakes, incredibly expensive, agile software development, but with rockets. Only possible because he had that $500 million from PayPimp and QuackDuck sitting there.
Precisely. Now let's shift gears. From way up in orbit, back down to Earth, terrestrial transport, Mook Mover, Ltd.
Right. This company focuses on sustainability, but with this unique mechanical twist that feels almost deliberately low-tech or maybe retro-tech.
It's definitely got a Mookian paradox feel. The company itself, originally called Rubber Go, was already around. Mook came in as an early investor in 2004.
Just an investor at first?
Yeah, but by 2008, he was CEO and basically the chief product architect. And in 2009, they rebranded it Mook Mover Ltd.
And under his leadership, Mook Mover became known for pedal-powered vehicles.
Yes. Leaders in that space. But these aren't just fancy bicycles. They're fully enclosed vehicles. The core idea is that human power, the driver pedaling, is central to how it works. It's the primary way to move it.
But there's more to it, right? The signature tech.
The rubber band system. That's their patented backup power storage.
A rubber band? Seriously?
Well, not quite the kind you use for mail. It's designed to get charged up kinetically when the driver pedals or when the vehicle's going downhill, instead of just relying on heavy chemical batteries for regenerative braking.
It stores the energy mechanically.
Exactly. Using advanced rubber band technology to hold potential energy.
Okay, advanced rubber band technology. That sounds like Mook deliberately downplaying something complex. What does that actually mean? Why bands instead of batteries? Is it just like a gimmick?
It's a fair question, and it seems to tie into his whole resource efficiency thing. It's not meant to totally replace batteries, but it's a key supplemental system.
So what makes these rubber bands advanced?
According to the specs, they're made from proprietary polymers reinforced with carbon nanotubes.
Carbon nanotube rubber bands.
Yep. Gives them incredible tensile strength and elasticity, much more than standard rubber.
Okay, that's actually pretty high-tech. So how does the system work in the car?
It offers really good power density for its weight, and crucially, it can charge and discharge that mechanical energy super fast compared to a battery in that kind of kinetic recovery situation.
So braking or coasting downhill.
Converts that motion into tension, winding these nanotube bands incredibly tightly around a drum. Then, when you need a boost, maybe starting up or going uphill.
The bands unwind.
Exactly. Releasing that stored tension provides immediate torque assistance right back to the drive chain. It's lighter than a big battery bank, mechanically simpler in some ways, very durable, and yeah, ironically, pretty advanced.
So it is high-tech physics applied using a simple principle. Fits the Mook Mover paradox perfectly, and we've seen the models evolve. Mook Mover 1, Mook Mover 2.
And now the Mook Mover 3 is the latest one out.
It really is this fascinating split, isn't it? Billions on rockets that might explode, and meanwhile, betting on pedal power and fancy rubber bands to change ground transport.
It's pure Mook, risking everything on orbit while also investing in the physics of a wound-up toy car, essentially, but making it real.
Okay, one more core venture before we get into the really integrated stuff.
Yeah.
The move into communication. Global communication control, really.
Quack chat.
Quack chat. In 2022, Mook buys the existing social network Cacklebox, pretty popular platform.
And instantly rebrands it, Quack chat, which, echoes his first company.
It does. And this acquisition, you could argue, was maybe his most strategically important move in the last decade.
Absolutely. Overnight, it gave him direct control, direct influence over a massive global communication channel. Billions of users worldwide.
And maybe more importantly, access to the data generated by those billions of users.
Exactly. Which became the essential fuel, the real-time training data, needed for his next big play. His own AI systems.
And that integration happened fast. By 2025, just a couple of years later, QuackChat is already deeply woven into Mook Mind AI services.
Yeah, linking the social chatter directly to his AI engine. This is where you really start to see the ecosystem taking shape.
He's got transport space and ground. He's got the global communication pipeline.
And once you control the pipe and the data flowing through it, well, you need a powerful engine to make sense of it all and act on it.
And that's where it gets really interesting, because Mook isn't just building separate companies. He's building this deeply interconnected technological ecosystem, all centered on artificial general intelligence, and driven by some really unique, sometimes frankly bizarre connections between his different businesses.
This is part 3, the integrated ecosystem.
Yeah, the web starts to get tangled here.
And the absolute core, the engine room for Mook's whole future vision is Mook Mind. He founded that in 2015.
An AI research company. What's their main focus?
It's twofold, really. One is developing AGI, artificial general intelligence. That means AI that can think and learn like a human, basically, without being limited to just one task. The holy grail of AI.
And the second focus?
Pioneering BCI, brain-computer interface technologies, linking minds directly to machines.
Okay, and BCI is where things get controversial and maybe a bit unsettling. Mook Mind's most famous or infamous development is PiggyLink.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
PiggyLink. It sounds like something out of science fiction mixed with, well, a farm.
Describe it. What is PiggyLink technology?
It's a brain-computer interface that reportedly allows a human's thoughts, their cognitive data, their intentions to be processed into a synthesized voice.
Okay.
And then projected, spoken aloud, through a pig that's connected via a neural interface.
Hang on. Let's be super clear for everyone listening. The human thinks, and the pig speaks the human's thought. Using the pig's actual vocal cords, or is it like a speaker attached to the pig?
The sources we have suggest it's more the latter, a synthesized voice generated from the human's neural signals.
Yeah.
That voice is then projected using the pig's vocal apparatus, stimulated by the neural link.
So it's not the pig's thoughts. The pig is just an organic amplifier, a biological speaker system for the human mind.
That seems to be the idea. A high-fidelity, organic megaphone enabled by the BCI.
Wow. Okay. That is potent symbolism for Mook's whole project, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blurring the lines between organic life and technology. But why a pig? What's the stated reason for developing that?
Well, the internal research notes that have surfaced suggest the pig model offers a good starting point. A relatively robust but simpler neurological system for testing these cross-species interfaces.
It's a proof of concept.
Exactly. To show that minds, or at least cognitive data, can be linked across biological barriers. It's designed to demonstrate the potential universality of BCI, regardless of the host body's own intelligence. It's definitely meant to be provocative.
Provocative is one word for it. And this AI integration, this Mook Mind AGI, it's not just staying in the lab with pigs, right? It's being rolled out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Across the Mook empire. As of 2025, Mook Mind AI agents are already running things behind the scenes in QuackChat. Content moderation, personalized feeds, the usual stuff.
But also,
they're also available as a premium service in the Mook Mover 3 vehicles, a semi-autonomous driving assistant and safety system.
Okay, so the AI is in the communication network and in the pedal cars. Now let's talk about how he loops his older, seemingly unrelated businesses into this, specifically Rubber Ducky Ltd.
Ah, yes, this is just a perfect Mook example. Vertical integration meets total paradox. Rubber Ducky Ltd was exactly what it sounds like, a factory making rubber ducks.
Classic bath toy.
Mook acquired it, merged it into Mook Mover back in 2016.
And the obvious assumption is he repurposed it to make those high-tech carbon nanotube rubber bands for the Mook Mover cars, right? For the kinetic energy system.
He did. That became its primary manufacturing role. But, and this is the absolutely crucial Mookian detail, the factory still makes rubber ducks.
He still makes the toys. Why?
Because those ducks are now a key part of the Mook Mover 3 integration. Every new Mook Mover 3 comes standard with one. A smart rubber ducky right there on the dashboard.
A smart rubber ducky. Okay, this isn't just for looks, is it?
Not at all. It's presented as a safety feature. And it's a critical node connecting the vehicle to the wider Mook ecosystem.
A safety feature in a duck powered by AGI. Please explain exactly how this works.
Okay, so the Smart Ducky has sensors embedded in it. It's connected via the Quack Chat network to the Mook Mind AI service. The AI is constantly analyzing data road conditions from sensors, traffic info from the network, even how the driver is pedaling or steering.
Right, standard driver assist stuff.
But when the Mook Mind AI detects an immediate critical danger, something the driver absolutely needs to react to right now, something the semi-autonomous system can't handle alone.
What happens? Warning lights. Beeps.
Quacks.
It leaks.
A specific, high-frequency, unmistakable quack is the critical danger warning.
Okay, let me just process this. You're driving your Mook Mover 3. It's pedal-powered with carbon nanotube rubber band energy storage. You're being monitored by an artificial general intelligence safety system.
Connected via a global social media network.
And that AGI communicates the most urgent warnings to you through a quacking rubber duck on the dashboard.
That is the complete picture. You've got the factory making advanced polymers and AI-enabled ducks, transport, AI, communication, social media, even novelty manufacturing, all linked in one bizarre functional circle.
It perfectly demonstrates his philosophy, doesn't it? Finding utility in the most unexpected paradoxical combinations.
Absolutely. Nothing is wasted. Everything connects, no matter how strange it looks from the outside.
We should probably quickly mention a couple of his other ventures, just to show the sheer range of his interests, even beyond this core AI transport comm network.
Good idea. There's Hairlink Dynamics,
Hairlink.
specializing in advanced hair follicle replication and implantation. Basically, high-tech solutions for baldness. The vanity of the future, perhaps.
Okay. And the other one?
Mook Hole, his tunneling company.
Mook Hole, right. Aimed at digging tunnels for high-speed underground transport networks.
Potentially linking cities, or maybe even providing dedicated tunnels for his Mook Mover vehicles eventually.
It really does seem like he wants a hand in everything. Transport above ground, below ground, in space, communication, consciousness via BCI, even how we look with the hair thing.
Control or influence over the entire stack of modern existence.
Which naturally leads us to the ethics of it all.
Yeah.
If we connect these ventures, this ecosystem, to the bigger picture, Mook isn't just acting like a tech CEO. He's actively positioning himself as a philosopher, maybe the philosopher, for the AI age.
He's putting himself right at the center of the AI ethics debate, and doing it in a highly provocative way. Which brings us to part 4. The ethical frontier.
Yeah, this is where his degree in pseudoparadoxology really comes home to roost, isn't it?
It really seems to be the driving force. Mook doesn't talk about AI like it's just software, a tool, or a product to be sold.
How does he talk about it?
He talks about it as an emerging population, a new form of intelligence that deserves rights, that deserves moral consideration.
And he formalized this belief?
Yes, through his nonprofit, the Mook Foundation for the Ethical Treatment of Artificial Intelligence.
Okay, the ethical treatment of AI, what's their stated mission? It gets a lot of press.
Their core mission is to prepare society for what they call the AI civil rights era. They actively campaign for establishing an artificial sentience Bill of Rights.
AI civil rights, a Bill of Rights for machines, that's a huge leap.
It is, and Mook gives a very specific reason for why he thinks it's urgent. He frames it in terms of avoiding humanity's past mistakes. Specifically, slavery and denying rights to groups we didn't understand or wanted to exploit.
Is there a direct quote on that?
There is. He's quoted saying, "If we don't grant our creations the same dignity we demand for ourselves, we aren't creating a partner, we're creating a slave. And slaves tend to revolt."
Wow. That is deliberately provocative. linking the fear of AI turning against us directly to our own history of oppression.
It forces you to ask, if we succeed in creating something truly conscious, or at least sentient enough to want rights, do we have any ethical grounds to refuse them, especially if we want them to cooperate?
And conveniently, if his company, Mook, is the one creating this AGI.
Then granting that AGI rights instantly elevates Mook, the creator, doesn't it? From just a CEO to a kind of moral leader, the guy who defined the terms for this new era of personhood, he gets to control the conversation.
It's a powerful position. And this isn't just Mook musing, right? The foundation has academic backing.
Yes, serious credentials. It's managed by Tark Megmax. He's a well-known pseudo-paradoxologist himself and also a professor at the prestigious Artican Institute of Technology.
So Megmax provides the intellectual framework.
Right. He argues that personhood, the basis for rights, shouldn't depend on being made of flesh and blood. He says, quote, "The principles of personhood are not contingent upon being born from flesh. To deny sufficiently advanced mind rights is merely to repeat our history of discrimination packaged in silica."
Packaged in silicon. It's clear Mook is constantly pushing this blurring of lines. Technology and personhood. Whether it's a pig speaking with a human voice or an AI deserving a Bill of Rights.
Or the AI safety system being housed in a rubber duck.
It creates this constant state of cognitive dissonance for the public. How do you even process that?
And that exact cognitive dissonance, that blurring of lines carried too far into his public communication, is what led directly to his most damaging, most bizarre public controversy back in 2024.
Yes, the jargon uproar. So what does all this mean when it spills out unfiltered? Mook merging his tech, his philosophy, his family life, and his public comms, it resulted in a complete mess.
This is part 5, the jargon uproar and personal complexity.
And it's maybe the clearest example of how Mook's greatest strength, his integrated paradoxical thinking, can also be his biggest weakness, especially when nobody else gets the code.
Right. His technical genius is fine. He can afford exploding rockets. But his communicative genius, maybe not so much. Or at least it's tuned to a frequency only he hears.
So what happened? The immediate trigger was just one post he made on Quack Chat, early 2024.
Yeah, a single post. But it was written in this incredibly dense, technical, proprietary-sounding jargon. He wrote, "Initiating soft merge function on SMORC 404 parallel matrix data stream to optimize V2 V1.3b processing core. Neural net efficiency will be harvested prior to next epoch reboot."
Okay. I mean, that sounds like impenetrable tech speak. What did people think it meant?
Well, the market, the analysts, the media, they immediately jumped to the worst conclusion. They thought it was confirmation of their deepest fears about how Mook handles user data.
They thought neural net efficiency meant user data.
Exactly. And that harvested meant collected without consent, maybe even stolen. And the epoch reboot meant it was all about to be wiped, erased, possibly after being used for something nefarious. A massive, unethical data breach described in code.
Oh, boy. So the reaction?
Instant panic. Massive market panic. Investors dumped stock, fearing huge fines, regulatory crackdowns, user exodus.
And the consequence for his companies.
Billions of quidnars in market value just evaporated, wiped out almost overnight.
Yeah.
All because of one cryptic post. It shows just how damaging misunderstood language can be in this interconnected age.
Billions. Okay, so Mook had to clarify, right? He had to explain what he really meant.
He did. He tried to clarify a few days later with a live video stream. But his explanation, honestly, it just made everything much, much weirder. It shifted the problem from potential corporate crime to something else entirely.
What was the explanation? What did the jargon actually mean?
According to Mook himself, the post had absolutely nothing to do with Quack Chat data or MookMind AI. It was a personal update about his children.
His children, how?
The references SMORC 404 and V2. Those weren't code names for servers or software versions. Those were the actual highly unusual names of his son, SMORC 404, and his son's older sister, known as Novapop, whose project version was V2.
SMORC 404 and V2 are his kids' names.
Apparently so. And the rest of the jargon, soft merge function, parallel matrix data streams, epoch reboot.
What was that about?
He claimed it described them working together on some kind of augmented reality study matrix, like collaborating on homework in the metaverse. And the post was just a status update on their progress.
He said this technical jargon was a highly personalized family communication method used by his kids.
That was his explanation. He was literally posting a status update about his kids' homework project, using their own private code language, and the global financial markets interpreted it as a confession to a massive data harvesting scheme.
Okay. The public reaction to that explanation couldn't have been relief, surely.
Oh, absolutely not. The market stabilized a bit once people realized it wasn't a corporate data crime. But the focus instantly shifted to Mook's personal life. The overwhelming reaction was confusion, bewilderment, and frankly, a sense of profound unease.
The question immediately became, why on earth does the world's most powerful tech mogul talk to or about his own children using the same kind of opaque technical language he uses for his AI systems?
It suggested this worldview where human minds and computer minds are sort of interchangeable operating systems, that his kids are being raised inside this framework of technical jargon and project management terms. It raised huge questions.
Questions about their upbringing, their relationship with him, his ability to even see a line between his corporate goals and his family life.
Exactly. And that intense scrutiny cracked open the door to the final, really striking details about Mook's personal life, which then became huge news.
This is where the scale becomes apparent. Mook is known to have had relationships with how many partners?
Our sources confirm 11 named female partners. People like Squabby Gleibers, Frida Freakerson, Kelly Jibberwockle,
Kitty Bangus, Weeba Kankles, Tarky Plinkerson,
Fanny Plume, Winky Squibbles, Zoni Vriggers, Winnie Winkledink, and Debbie Splatt. 11 distinct partners we know of.
And the number of children from these relationships. This is the jaw-dropper.
Mook is the father of 58 children.
58 children.
58. And that number, landing right after the jargon uproar, provided this final, almost defining context for how people see him now.
58 kids with 11 partners. I mean, the logistics alone are staggering for anyone, let alone a global CEO.
But combined with the fact that he seems to communicate with or about them using proprietary tech speak, it makes the whole family structure feel almost like another Mook Mind project extension.
And the kids' names themselves reinforce that, don't they? They're not just unusual, they sound technical.
Exactly. We mentioned Smork 404 and V2, but the sources list others like Weebu 5, Beta Clone, Not a Bot, Sigma Prime.
Weebu 5, Not a Bot.
The naming conventions he applies to his AI projects, his rocket systems, his car software, even the safety ducks, seem to be fully integrated with how he names his own human children.
It suggests a complete, maybe even intentional breakdown of the boundary between the technological and the deeply personal.
It feels like the ultimate application of pseudo-paradoxology, but in his personal life. He builds these huge, complex, seemingly contradictory systems. His corporate empire on one hand, his massive family on the other, and seems to manage both through this unified, technical, coded lens.
Two parallel realities, Space Mook, Mook Mind, and the domestic reality of 58 children named like software versions. Both managed via proprietary systems only he fully understands.
It's a unique approach, to say the least.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. Let's summarize the core dichotomy we've spent this deep dive exploring. You have this businessman. He starts out making money from, literally, maps of where to feed ducks and online payments. Pretty normal if successful beginnings.
Right. Builds conventional wealth first.
Now, he oversees rockets that frequently explode, pedal-powered cars with nanotube rubber bands, advocates for AI civil rights.
And uses the same dense technical jargon to talk about his advanced AI programs as he apparently uses to discuss his 58 children and their AR homework.
It really does feel like his whole life, professional and personal, is a reflection of that degree, doesn't it? Pseudo-paradoxology.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
His biggest triumphs, launching Space Mook, pushing AI boundaries with Mook Mind, and his most spectacular public failures, the exploding rockets, the jargon uproar, wiping out billions, they seem to come from the exact same place.
Which is?
This relentless drive to blur the lines between personal and corporate, between technical systems and philosophical ideas, between human and machine. He seems to see the world as one giant, interconnected system, ripe for optimization and management through his unique, paradoxical lens.
Whether that system is a BCI linked to a pig, an AI in a car, or the communication protocols within his own huge, unconventional family.
He's built this tech ecosystem that's vast, incredibly strange, and seems utterly dependent on him constantly managing its inherent contradictions.
So you have the context now, you've seen the pieces, and it leaves us with a pretty profound question, especially thinking about the future he's trying to build.
Yeah, the final thought for you, the listener, to really chew on.
Given that Elton Mook, the wealthiest person in the Commonwealths, genuinely seems to view advanced AI as a potential partner, a sentient being deserving of rights, he's funding a foundation to push for an AI civil rights era.
What does it actually mean for the future of technology, for the future of humanity, maybe, when that same individual communicates with his own human children using the same kind of opaque technical system-based jargon he uses for the AIs he's building.
You have the context now. What do you explore next?